Hi, I'm Simon. Welcome to The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, subscribe to get notifications of new videos like this one so you don't miss out on any news. And all the links to everything I talk about in this video, including gear discussed, are placed in the description down below, along with the current contest details for this lens, which I'm giving away next week. Alright, so what's been going on? Why haven't I been producing videos? I don't think I've produced a video for at least 3 or 4 days so far. Many of you have sent me comments asking, Simon, did you see this? Did you see this? What's going on? Well, I was in emergency surgery earlier this week. Tuesday night, I just couldn't sleep. I was in discomfort. It wasn't pain, but it was discomfort. So around 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, sometime around then, Wednesday, I thought, I'm going to go to the emergency and have this checked out. It was just strange. It was like nothing I'd had before, this strange pain. So when I got there, they checked me in pretty quickly. I was amazed. It was very, very strange environment because everything was all, COVID-19 and everything, the way everything was set up. But they got me in pretty quickly. I was able to see a doctor very quickly. I was very impressed with that. But once they'd done all my tests, the doctor said, you've got appendicitis. So at that point, they pretty well get you in right away. You're admitted. They get you on all different solutions and you're prepped for surgery. And the surgery happened later that night. So it was, it's been a strange time. I haven't been reporting on the news. I did drop off a few comments. I'm prepping for Saturday's Q&A session, which I really enjoy. It shouldn't be too difficult of a session because I'm sitting down the whole time. And this video here is not so much of a, hey, this is what news I've missed so far. It's more of a reason why I have stopped filming. I haven't forgotten about you guys. I haven't stopped the channel. But I'm just focusing on my health. I'm making sure I get recovered. So if you see a bunch of news coming out wondering why I'm not covering it, that's why. I'm probably going to be pretty intermittent over the next week. There's a couple of videos I will get out, but other than that, I'm not going to be working really hard. I'm going to be relaxing, following doctor's orders, eating right, resting, doing short walks to help keep things moving, because after you've had surgery, the last thing you want to do is sit down for too long because you can increase blood clots, and that's what happened to my father. He died from a blood clot after surgery. So yeah, make sure you follow doctor's orders and all that. So that's what I'm doing. Drink plenty of liquids. But let's take a brief look at what we've missed this week. One of the first things I found when I woke up this morning is, actually several things. One is IBIS is coming to the M system, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you shouldn't be too surprised by that because it was one of the rumored things coming to the M50, the M5 Mark II coming out later this year, which we still may or may not be getting. If it does come out this year, it's probably going to come out in Japan first and the rest of the world in Q1. So that's good. I mean, it makes sense. Canon's IBIS, as seen in the R5 and the R6, is pretty good. It works really, really well. It's not jittery. And I'm going to be testing it out in the R5 when I get that as well. We can see how smooth that is. The other thing that I found out came out, I think it was yesterday, we're getting a new RF mount, or a new mount, shall we say. And this is rumored to be, thanks to Canon Rumors, this is rumored to be on the cinema line. It is a CR2, so that means it comes from known sources. And it could pan out, but the one thing that's great about the Canon line is your lenses can go from one platform to another. So right now, if I've got my EF glass, which is on this camera right here, I can take that glass and I can move it onto the cinema line. No problem if I've got the EF mount on the cinema line. And a lot of you have been wondering, well, can we take the RF glass and put it on the cinema line? And we can't right now. So if they come out with a new mount for the video line and we can't put on EF or RF lenses, well, that would be, for shops that are using these cameras, that are using the EF and the RF lenses, that would add a bit more cost to their solution. So I'd be surprised if they go ahead and create a new mount for the video line if they don't at least provide some adapters. But this is, this is still pretty early on. I did get a good night's sleep last night, but I'm not speaking as well as I normally do. I do apologize for that, but like I said, I'm getting better. If you're watching this right now, then I was well enough to edit it, but I'm not planning on making this a very long video. So anyways, the RF mount, or the new mount, we'll just have to see what that pans out to be, but it's supposed to be on the video line. Nothing for us buying R5s and R6s or Rs should be worried about. They're not getting ready to kill off that line anytime soon, and Canon has said on many occasions that they're focusing heavily on the RF system. So that's good news. Another piece of interesting news, the Associated Press has gone out and said that they're only going to be using Sony gear. No more Nikons and Canons. That's pretty bold. I wonder what kind of deal they're getting. Obviously, they're getting a really good deal to make that happen, but yeah, that's a pretty big win for Sony. Very, 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 very big. But really, when it comes to Sony, the big news is what hasn't been announced yet. It's coming out on the 28th, which is 4 days away. Wow, 4 days away. That's pretty soon, isn't it? Now, we've got a lot of rumors on this camera. I've covered them in depth. I'm not going to cover them here in depth, but this is looking to be a very, very powerful video camera. And some people are saying, well, it's going to kill the R5, or some people are saying, well, the R5 is better. And yes, it's very subjective. To you, the R5 might be better. To you, the Sony a7 III might be better. It really depends on what the capability you're looking for in a camera. If you shoot a lot of photos and a lot of videos, like for example, a wedding photographer or anybody who does family stuff, then you're probably going to want to use both. And in that case, maybe the R5 or the R6 is better because it's equally positioned between photos and videos. But if you primarily shoot video work, well, then maybe the a7S III is better for you. We'll have to wait and see, but if it can do 4K video up to 120 frames per second without recording limits or without overheating, that's a pretty solid workhorse. I don't know what this thing's going to look like. I really don't know if the rumored specifications are going to pan out, but we're going to know in 4 days. So that's why I don't see the point in going into a lot of analysis here on what a rumored camera may look like. But I do strongly believe that the a7S III is going to be heavily focused on the video side of things. I believe that it is going to be capable of doing photos. 12 megapixels, and I've got a question for this in my Q&A session, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. I'll answer this on Saturday, but you can do a lot with 12 megapixels, but you've got to be good. You've got to know how to frame the subject. You've got to know how to shoot. And of course, having a good IBIS really helps too, because then in low light, you know, you're going to be better at getting more shots. And of course, you need a really good autofocus system too. So all those things working together help you get better shots most of the time, and you got to frame it right. So 12 megapixel, I mean, for the longest time we were working with 8 megapixel cameras, and nobody was complaining then. Oh, like, wow, 8 megapixels, I can do 8 by 10s and 11 by 14s. Well, not 11 by 14s, but you can do 8 by 10. So yes, today we've got 61 megapixel sensors, thank you Sony, and 45 megapixel sensors, thank you Canon. It doesn't mean that 12 megapixels is totally useless. And the main reason for supporting this is you're getting larger pixels, should be low noise, and it really is, at the end of the day, it's all about video. That's why we're getting a 12 megapixel sensor. And if that's not good for you, that means you're probably more into photos. And then maybe something like the R6 or the R5 might be better for you, or the Fuji X-T4, or the new Nikon coming out. The Z5? Yeah, maybe not. The Nikon bothers me a little bit. I mean, I said this in an earlier video. The Nikon Z5 is pretty well a modern version of the EOS R. But the EOS R was behind the competition when it came out 2 years ago. So I think if they lowered the price of the Z5 down to around $1,000, I think it'd be a great value. But at its current list price, I'm not so confident. I really want to see what else Nikon's got coming out. They need to hit it well. They need to have a really good camera, and I'm looking for the Z8 to see what that's going to be. Of course, we have the update in the Z6 and the Z7. But that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win the EF 50mm f1.8. I know this isn't my best video, but this is just to remind you that I haven't stopped producing videos for the channel. It's just that I'm recovering, and I'm not going to be producing a lot of videos. But I do appreciate your comments. I do appreciate everything you guys are doing to support me. And we'll see you again soon. I have some really interesting stuff coming up, so stay tuned. Cheers. Bye-bye.